Sometimes as I look at this team and see how detrimental the last regime was, I tend to ask myself, do we really know how bad Ron Rivera was? Let's talk about it.
How I feel? Relax. What I want?
Get back slow. I love the way she rockin' it. I love the way she move it, shake it all day. When she cry for him, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner. She's confident. I love the way she move it.
Follow me on Twitch at ChewyIRL, as that's where I will be live streaming the games anytime the Washington Commanders play. I streamed the game yesterday versus the New York Jets, and I know some people probably was like, Juan, where are you at? I'm over on Twitch. So go ahead and give me a follow. And then secondly, join the Discord server, as I finally got one up and running, and we already got a couple people in here. It's going to be a place where you can have fun and be your authentic self. Enjoy the rest of the video. YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We on the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, we're coming on here with the video where we're going to be taking a look down memory lane and taking a look at how bad Ron Rivera draft class was. Now, why are we doing this, you may be asking? Because a lot of the players that he drafted are still here and are trash. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers, so please help me get there as soon as possible. Tonight at 6 p.m. I will be going live on Twitch, ChewyIRL_, and we're going to be reacting to every NFL game. So Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, her went crazy. We're going to be reacting to all that over there. So go ahead and join me at 6 p.m. That link is down below in the description. Alrighty, let's get straight to it. So I woke up with the idea of taking a look at Ron Rivera's draft class from starting 2020 all the way into 2023. So his 4 years here in Washington, we're going to take a look at each and every draft class that he did and see how it panned out. Because in my opinion, Ron probably went a cool 3 for like 30 with draft picks. So 2020, he kicked it off with getting Chase Young, number 2 overall pick. Obviously, hindsight, we would have probably took Justin Herbert. Not probably, we would have took Justin Herbert, given the fact that we've seen how Chase Young's tenure here in Washington played out. One good year, and honestly, not to hate on Chase Young because I rooted for him like crazy. That year that he had, his rookie season, was not even all that. To be honest with you, with 7.5 sacks, he was solid that year. He was solid that year, and it was him and Jeremy Chin in the race for Rookie of the Year, and he won it, and I was happy. And I thought, you know what I'm saying, all right, we got a perennial edge rusher for the next decade, right? We got our Ryan Kerrigan for the next decade, and it ended up going downhill from there, right? 2021, he tore his ACL, you know. Then in the following year after that, he was out for a majority of the year, and then he comes back at the end of the 2022 season, the 2022 season, for like the 49ers game, and we're like, okay, Chase Young's back. And then his last year here in Washington, it was just a mess, right? He didn't play. You know what I'm saying? In the games he did play, he really didn't do nothing. You could tell he didn't want to be here. And then we ended up trading him at the deadline, him and Montez Sweat. Chase Young, again, he went on to play for the 49ers. A lot of 49ers says he's one of the laziest players they ever seen. So a lot of people are starting to see the treatment that Chase Young was in Washington, right? It's not, I'm not going to say it's not us, because we did have problems, but he really isn't a player that wants it. He just wants everything that comes with the football, not actually playing football. So Chase Young, that was his first pick. Second pick was Antonio Gibson. Now, we're not going to act as if Antonio Gibson also didn't have a good start to his career too. And back in 2020, he had 4 touchdowns. Was it against 3 or 4 touchdowns against the Cowboys? Beat him in 41-16. AG was good, man. His biggest issue was fumbling. But he's another guy, and that's why I believe this regime was just so bad, because he's another guy that doesn't want to be here in Washington. You could clearly tell in his media scrums and what he says and how he says it about the fans. Remember, he called the fans out too, said the fans need to support us and all of that. He calling the fans out. And then recently I just made a video on how he said Washington's organization was horrible, and the Patriots do things the better way. Like, he's another guy that didn't want to be here. So that also makes me feel like Ron Rivera regime was just trash, because I doubt he says that about Dan Quinn. But Antonio Gibson was solid, man. Besides the injuries, besides the fumbles, he was really good. So I honestly may give Ron Rivera credit for that pick. But he may ultimately blossom in New England instead of Washington. And then in his next pick was Sadiq Charles. Man, Sadiq Charles, he was a injury backup, right? He had potential to be solid here. He was okay, but he was nothing too special. He was drafted to be a tackle, and he ended up playing guard here in Washington, and he never really bust a grape here because he was either hurt or he was a backup. And then he goes on to Tennessee, and he ultimately retires once he gets to Tennessee. And he was in the play for being like the starting left or right guard there in Tennessee, and he ended up retiring. So another bad Ron Rivera draft pick. Then another bad Ron Rivera draft pick. Antonio Gandy Golden. What happened to him? Right, he retired after like 1 or 2 seasons. He hung it up, and he never did anything for us. Right, he was supposed to be that big body receiver for us that we needed, and we were so desperately missing. Didn't do anything. Ended up playing in like 1 or 2 games, and he ended up retiring. So Antonio Gandy Golden, another bad pick. Keith Ishmael. I know some of y'all probably like, who? Another guy. Didn't do anything. San Diego State. I think he's still around in the NFL, maybe on a backup capacity elsewhere, but he didn't do anything for us, right? He didn't ultimately become a starting center, a second string center even. So he really didn't do nothing. Khalid Hudson was a good special teams guy. Always thought that if he was given the opportunity, he could be really good as a linebacker for Washington, but we never saw that in him, I guess. Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio never saw that potential in him, so they never really gave him his opportunities. But anytime he did get his shot, he was always really solid. So he's a good special teams guy, and I think he's in New Orleans now alongside Chase Young. So maybe if he gets an opportunity to be the linebacker, one of the linebackers there in New Orleans, maybe, just maybe, he can blossom. But here in Washington, similar thing. They didn't bust a grape. Then in 2021, Ron Rivera's draft class. So if we're going to rate that draft class, I think Ron Rivera went two for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He went 2 for 8 on that draft pick because we got Cam Curl, who was one of the best young safeties in football. I almost forgot to talk about him. I don't know how I forgot about that. Cam Curl, one of the best young safeties in football. Wanted him back here in Washington. Thought he was one of the franchise, cornerstones alongside like a Terry McLaurin or something like that for this defense, but we ultimately decided to let him go, hit free agency, and he's going to be in LA. And I'm really happy for Cam Curl because I love Cam Curl. He was a dog. He was our best pick from this draft class. He's 7th-round pick, Cam Curl, our best draft pick from 2020. Then you move on to 2021, Jamin Davis. This pick is still laughable in my opinion. I think Jamin's going to find his way as an edge rusher here in Washington and maybe in the future. But as far as like going back in time, looking what we could have got, Christian Darrisaw, Zaven Collins, JOK, we should have taken those guys instead of taking Jamin Davis, who probably, if we did this draft over again, wouldn't go into the 3rd or 4th round. Yes, he has the athletic tool to be amazing, but this last regime did not see that in him. It took for Dan Quinn to come in here to say, okay, let me finally try him at edge. Your man Juan Gotti, just a regular Washington Commanders fan, just like you out there, said Jamin Davis should have been playing edge after his rookie season. So this last regime didn't know what they want to do with Jamin Davis. They drafted him basically solely off of his off-the-field antics because he comes from a military background. He really didn't do nothing at Kentucky. He only started because his roommate got into some injury concerns. He wasn't really nothing. And it's not to crap on Jamin Davis. It's just to kind of crap on Ron Rivera for his drafting. Like, he was bad. It was a bad pick. 1st round, should have went left tackle or something like that. Jamin Davis, you could have got that in the 3rd or 4th round. But, bad pick by Ron Rivera. Next pick, this is one of his good picks. Sam Cosmi. Sam Cosmi is going to get paid here, I believe, either after this season or after next season. He's going to get paid because he deserves it, man. He's one of the best right guards in football. Really good, really reliable, and I love Sam Cosmi. So that's one of Ron Rivera's good picks. Benjamin St. Juice, BSJ, man. You could do better than BSJ, right? Like, I think BSJ is average. I've really tried to support him over the last couple of years because I saw potential in him, but you can do better than BSJ. Is this a bad pick right here? Not necessarily, because you got him in the 3rd round, and I think that's where he belongs. 3rd or 4th round is where BSJ, was supposed to be picked. So not necessarily bad pick by him, but I mean, maybe you could have done better. I'm not really sure. Think about it. Amon-Ra St. Brown was still on the board here because that's where Amon-Ra always compares himself to all the people that was drafted ahead of him, and he says De'Ami Brown was drafted ahead of him. So maybe we could have went Amon-Ra there, but we didn't think about it. So Benjamin St. Juice, DB, not bad, but not worth giving him credit for because he hasn't really done nothing either. De'Ami Brown, guy that looks to be finally finding his stride in the last year of his contract with this new regime. Jaden Daniels, De'Ami Brown connection is brewing there in training camp and in the preseason. So maybe this is the year of De'Ami Brown's explosion, and maybe he's so good this year that we can sign him to maybe a 1-year deal contract extension, or maybe we give him a 3-year. Who knows? But De'Ami Brown, I think, is going to be a guy that finally finds his footing here in Washington this year. And if not, then that's just another pick by Ron Rivera. So right now, we're down to John Bates. You can do better than John Bates. John Bates is still here. He's okay. He's reliable, I guess, in a blocking aspect, and he can catch a little bit. But like, you know what I'm saying, John Bates ain't really nothing. Derek Forrest, he's okay. He had a good year 2 years ago. Still waiting for him to get back to that form. Hasn't been back to that form, and I don't know if he will. But Derek Forrest, okay. But the theme of this drafts are you can always do better. Then after that, you got Cam Cheeseman. You trade up for a long stop, which in my opinion is still one of the worst moves in NFL history, to trade up for a long snapper. And then you trade up for a long snapper that can't long snap, and then he gets cut. So Cam Cheeseman is no longer even here anymore. I don't know what's up with Cam Cheeseman nowadays, but he's not even here no more because he can't long snap. But you trade up for him, which was a dumb move by Ron Rivera, because you could have got this guy probably after the draft. You didn't have to spend a draft pick on Cam Cheeseman. Who was beating Cam Cheeseman's door down to go draft him? Nobody. You could have waited. William Bradley King, not even here anymore. Shaka Tony, not even here anymore. Dax Milne, maybe on the practice squad, trash. All freaking 4 of these picks right here were trash by Ron Rivera. And honestly, like I said, you can honestly say he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You could say he went 1 for 9 on this draft board, if you want to be honest with you, because the only guy that's proven himself thus far is Sam Cosmi. Jury's still out on Jamin Davis. Jury's still out on De'Ami Brown. I think we already know what Benjamin St. Juste and the rest of these guys are, but honestly, 1 for 9 if you want to be honest right now. Then in 2022, Ron Rivera spent this first round pick on Jahan Dotson. A guy like Kyle Hamilton was there. A guy like Chris Olave was there. But Jahan Dotson bursting onto the scene his rookie year. He was really good, and we thought we had the wide receiver 2 alongside Terry McLaurin. And Jahan Dotson, I'm still rooting for him, still hoping that he can get back to his old self. But even he admitted that he struggled with confidence and he struggled with getting back to his old self, and he really hasn't found himself yet. So hopefully Jahan Dotson can get back to that. But if we're being honest right now, that's another pick that's still up in the air and that's still questionable by Ron Rivera. Then you go down to Fedorian Mathis. Fedorian Mathis hasn't done nothing in this league thus far. But be injury prone, right? And again, it's not all his fault. You know, injuries suck, but he hasn't really done nothing either. And I did not like this pick in the moment either. So that pick, to me, trash. Brian Robinson, one of his best picks. In my opinion, B. Robin's going to be a 1,000-yard back this year, and he's going to be really good for us in the near future. So Brian Robinson, that is another good pick by Ron Rivera. Percy Butler, you can do better than Percy Butler. Sam Howell, in my opinion, is a really good pick, and I think last year's regime ruined him. I think he's going to be really good when he gets his opportunity in Seattle. So I'll give Ron Rivera credit for that pick right there. Cole Turner, I don't think this regime believes in Cole Turner, so I don't think he's going to make this roster, so he's another pick. Chris Paul is still around. I think he's going to be a reliable, depth piece, but then again, nothing spectacular there. And Christian Holmes, I believe he recently just got cut, so another pick by Ron Rivera. So in this draft, I want to say Ron Rivera went, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would say Ron Rivera went 3 for 8 in this draft, maybe, because I do like Brian Robinson, I do like Sam Howell, and I want to like Jahan Dotson. I think if he gets back to his old self and he gets back to playing with his strong suit, which is being a slot receiver, that could be a good pick. So I'll say he went 3 for 8 in this draft. And then in 2023, his final draft here in Washington, I mean, he drafted Emmanuel Forbes, which everyone knows, everyone sees. If we could do it over again, and what we should have did was drafted Christian Gonzalez. Emmanuel Forbes, in my opinion, is not good, and I'm hoping he can get better, but he's not looking too good, in my opinion. And I don't even know if he's going to start when the season comes here. Next, you have Quan Martin. I think this is his best pick from this year's draft. Quan Martin is a guy that's going to be around as a safety, and hopefully he could turn out to be something special. But even him himself, not really spectacular just yet, but at least he's shown some type of growth. So maybe Quan Martin could be a cornerstone for that secondary alongside Jeremy Chin. Then you got Ricky Stromberg. depth guy. You know, really ain't too much with him. Same with Braden Daniels. Haven't heard Braden Daniels' name at all this offseason. Don't even know if he's gonna make the team. Doubt he makes the team. Maybe practice squad. Maybe KJ Henry. Not too much on him. I seen him play last night or the other night, but not too much on him. He's okay, I guess. Chris Rodriguez is even seeing the field. I think they're getting more snaps to Michael Wiley over Chris Rodriguez. Don't think he's making the roster. Maybe practice squad, maybe. And then Andre Jones, same here. Really nothing too spectacular. So in this draft class, I think Ron Rivera 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 went 1 for 7 in this draft with Quan Martin. And even some people don't necessarily believe in Quan Martin all the way through just yet, but I'm gonna say Quan Martin is his only good draft pick. So in 2023, he went 1. In 2022, which probably was his best draft, he went 3. So that's 4 picks right there in total. And then in 2021, I'm gonna say he went 1 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna say in 10. I want to say he went 1 for 10 in this draft class with getting Sam Cosmi. So that's 5 picks. And then in the 2020 draft class, I'm gonna say he went 1 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna say he went 1 for 8 in that draft pick. So that's 6. So out of his 4 drafts, Ron Rivera went like 6 for like 30, bro, which is absolutely horrible if you ask me. But there you have it. I just wanted to take a quick look down memory lane to let you guys know, take the insight on looking at how bad Ron Rivera was, y'all. Like, after today's video and after looking back at his draft class and not even talking about his free agent signings, this is just solely his draft class. Like, we didn't even look at the free agent signings of like the Ryan Fitzpatricks, thinking he was going to be really good, the William Jacksons and stuff like that. We haven't even looked at the free agent signings, but just the draft picks alone, man, were really, really bad. I think his best free agent signing was probably Curtis Samuel. But other than that, he ain't signed nobody that was worthy of really much. But let me know what you guys think about it down below in the comment section. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Y'all have a blessed one. Stay safe. Again, catch me on Twitch tonight at 6 p.m. See y'all later. Peace.